Hey, what's going on, guys? We are live again tonight. We're going to be going over a couple of things. I'm Tony with CCxRC, where we try and bring you guys as much fun and great RC content as we possibly can, from reviews to bashing to whatever. So, again, this is going to be a live stream. We're going to talk a little bit about this guy here that's on the bench, give you an update about the run that I did with this thing, and show you kind of what we did with it. But we're also going to be looking at this package that's over here, and this is something that I got from RCNewb. It's I'm going to basically be unboxing it for you. I opened it up just to see what was in the package, and I will be looking at it closer. I haven't actually inspected very closely what is going on there yet. So that's kind of what we're looking at today, and I'm going to go ahead and get onto the chat here. See who's here, because usually this takes a little hot second for it to catch up and allow me to find how to log into this, because the dashboard for getting into my own videos for some reason isn't as easy as I would like it to be. I have to basically subscribe to myself through another channel and hope that I get the email alert, and then I jump in, usually using that link. But the first thing that we're going to talk about is this JLB 21101. This is the extreme version, 120 amp ESC. We did an unboxing of this thing, and a lot of people always have questions about this and the Bison and some of the other vehicles, so we'll be looking at that. Kind of talking through some of that, what my thoughts are on this, because some of you might remember that the first version, the JLB 21101, wasn't my favorite car. I mean, I didn't dislike it, but when I compared it to the Bison, I liked the Bison better. Some of that has changed because this thing I really, really like. So I don't know if we're live or not. It says that we're active on there, but I don't see that we're actually recording on here, and I'm not getting any alerts that we're live anywhere else. So let me just try refreshing this and make sure that we're live, because it's not allowing me to cancel the broadcast or stop it, so I don't think that we actually went live. Hey guys, welcome to CCxRC. I'm Tony, and for some of you, you may be getting this, it may be the second time we're joining in, because I'm having some issues with being able to find the live stream to be able to join in on the chat here. But we're going to be talking about the JLB 21101 on here, as well as this package that I got here on the bench from RCNewb, some stuff that I purchased from his store, from RCNewbie.com. And so I want to show you guys what that is. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into this. If you give me a second, we'll try and get the live chat up here so that we can view what you guys are talking about and get that going. So here's a look at the RCNewbie website for you, and we'll talk a little bit more about what he has going on over there, because Tim has got a lot of cool stuff going on. So we're back on here, and now I'm going to try and get on to our live chat, and then we'll talk a little bit about the car here. So I'm going to go under videos on here and see if we can't find how to get into the live. It looks like we're back live again. So we're going to look here at the JLB 21101. I just had this out for a quick bash, and I'll talk a little bit about what I think about this compared to the first version. This is the extreme version with some upgrades, and then just about how it was as far as handling and the repairs that I have to do to it after the bash, because we really, really beat this thing up. So it looks like we've got the chat up in here now. We've got James Wesson, Evil Mustang, Hung. No, I don't know exactly how to pronounce that. So a bunch of people in here. So hopefully we're live again. Is this the live one? We restarted. So I don't know. I wish that they would make a better way for you to be able to find your feeds and get things going. So anyway, I have that little beef of mind with how YouTube has some of this live stuff set up still, especially when you're using other software, because YouTube's own software is so limited. So, hi Shooter, how is it going? Says that we've got people watching again, so we're going to continue. We'll proceed on. Let's do the first thing. Let's go ahead and let's look at what we got from RCNewb. These are some things that I ordered from him. We got lots and lots and lots of zip ties. We got a cool pin. And I went ahead and I ordered a bunch of the mufflers for my SCX10s. And I'm hoping it's also going to fit onto my Traxxas crawler as well. So we'll see. People are saying we're live, so I'm hoping that still means we're currently live. Check these out. So these are the first that I'm actually getting to see him. These are the mufflers that he has for, these are for the SCX10. This particular one in particular. And so it sits on the rails, and then you zip tie it on there. And he's included all these zip ties, and so it's actually a really great fit that he's got for it in his design. And then this will go around up underneath your rails. And actually, I happen to have one of my SCX10s with me right here, so we'll get this up on here and take off a couple pieces and see if we can't show you guys how these mount on here live with the rails. So let's get a look back at the truck, and so you can see the frame rails here, and so these are just going to slide up and slip right on here like so. Now this particular one has kind of an extension on this bumper onto the rails, so it doesn't actually stick out very far for this particular rig. Let me just kind of stick it up on there so we can see where it's going to be on this one. So it sits underneath, which still looks good, like so. And then he's also got, there's a newer set that he's done that's a two-piece. So let's move the truck out of the way here. And so this is the two-piece design muffler. And what's actually cool about these is actually the detail on these is a little bit more detail on the ends of the mufflers. You can see that there, the extra ring. So that looks great. And so these just kind of push in here. He's already got an Allen in there, a screw to hold it in place. And so it's a two-piece design, which is pretty trick. Hold this back up here for you, see if we can't give you a little view what that looks like on the truck. There we go. So live isn't maybe the best way to show these off, but I wanted to talk a little bit about those and what I got in the mail from him, because I was excited about it. The pricing on those, let's see, let's pull up his website here for you guys. We'll see if we go into infinity space here. You can see I'm trying to watch. And we'll look at what we've got going on for RCNewb. Alright, so my internet's running slow, probably because I got all this video stuff going on it. So if we go into his store here real quick, we'll be able to see some of the stuff that he's offering on here. From a book that he's got for free, PDF type book, ebook. Lots of cool stuff I've seen that he's doing for these ambush, for the tire rack and all that. 3D printed fuel cans, 24th and 10th scale sleeping packs, and then here's these are flared for the ambush. These are the mufflers for that, and then down here he's got the classic two-piece exhaust for the SCX10s. Right here, these are all black, and then these are the classic single, which is the ones that are the black ones that I have, and like this one here would be the single, and then the two-piece one is going to be the dual that he's got going on. So it'd be the up here. Where'd that go? I lost it. Well, I passed it. Anyway, so these are the newer ones that he's got in the two-piece. So that's a quick look. The prices are really, really reasonable on it. And so I think it was $4 for the single one, and I think it was $7 for the two-piece exhaust, the silver one. So I'm going to head back over and see if there's any questions or anything going on in here. It says, nice muffler. RC Trail Runners needs to come out way further. That is due to the extended bumper on the SCX-10 that those don't come out very far. It looks a lot better on my Jeep. So, not my Jeep Cherokee, my Jeep Wrangler. It looks a lot better. There's just kind of the way that they've done these really long bodies on this sticking out with these bumpers. It doesn't have the same type of extension on it, but you can see on the pictures with the other ones that they look a lot better on the deadbolt, I think it is, that they were shown in the photos. So we'll talk a little bit about the JLB, because this 120 amp version of this changed my mind on this rig completely. I wasn't as big a fan of the first version as I was the Bison. I thought it just kind of felt a little bit sluggish, or it felt heavy. I mean, you can't feel the weight of it when you're driving it through the controller, but just the way that it reacted, just it handled, you could feel. I mean, even holding it right now, it's beefy with all the metal that they've got on this rig, and so I felt like you could just feel that as you're trying to drive the car, and it just felt like it was just not as precise as the Bison. So that's why I like the Bison, as well as I could get parts locally. So, so this was an amazingly fun RC to drive. I drove it a couple times. I only filmed 2 of them, but I played around with it a little bit in my yard, and then I filmed it a little bit in my yard on another run, and then I took it to the BMX trails and just annihilated it. And that happened by accident. To tell you the truth, I was just jumping it as I was coming down. I was actually going to go further into the trails and start there and then come back to the parts where I figured I might break it. But when I ended up clearing the doubles and jumping that next one perfectly, I thought I'd do it again. Well, so I did it again, and I cased the top of it. I don't know. I think I've got the video here. Let me see if this is it. Yeah, this is, I hit the tree. But before this, it's in the longer version of this video that is on the video that I did taking this car out. I think it might even be at the very beginning of that YouTube video, but I jumped the first set of doubles, I cased the landing like right on top, and it bounced, and then where I'm standing to film this, you can't see anything after that landing, so it just goes down into a hole, and then there's the face of the jump. And so what I did is I just pegged it. I didn't know where it was going to go, where it was facing after a case like that. And next thing I knew, it was up in the trees flipping, and because I hit it so hard, just trying to get enough speed to clear it. And then I didn't think that I captured it on video, because I was just blown away when it came out above the trees. And so I did it again, and when I did it again, I landed on the top. I over-rotated, and I just crushed the top in. And so I sent it back, and I did it again, and then I landed it, but it just, the impact, it just bounced. I think I've got that video here. You know, that's the one in the trees. Is this the same? So these are both into the trees, so I don't have the one of it clipping on this setup that I've got going on, but it's in the video. It's on my Instagram, and it came toward me actually, so I didn't hit it straight, and it landed on the flat ground and it bounced. And when it did that, it broke the. It didn't actually break anything. That's what's surprising. Is I'll flip it over here and I'll be able to show you what it did with the video here. So. There we go. So you can see all I really did was I bent this little piece of metal here. And so I've just got to get this pin back into place, get my my dog bone here back in, and then I'm just going to bend this back in. I'm going to hammer it back forward with something or bend it back into place. And I'm going to keep running it because currently that's the worst thing that I did to it. I mean, if I'm going to be picky and nitpicky, I also bent a couple of screws, but they're just screws, and I've got tons of them to replace it. So I'll just replace these two screws here on the top and keep all the spacers that I've got there. Probably like 14 millimeter by 3 mil maybe. But busted the bumper off straight away, but I knew it was going to happen. Just the way I run it, I had no hopes or plans of actually keeping that intact, so that didn't bother me one bit to break that off. iPod Guy 55 asks, does the change of an ESC really make that much of a difference? It does. I mean, it just handles the power differently that it's sending to all of the components that are having to use it at the same time, coming from the battery. So for your servo, when all power is on, it just distributes it a whole lot better. So yeah, I think that it does actually make quite a difference. And for the little bit more that it costs, it's definitely worth doing the upgrade. I think it's like $20 difference or something like that to get it with the 120 amp version. Plus, it just comes with a nicer controller as well. So I think that this version is going to be better. If you have the other one, I don't think that's, you know. Again, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. I thought for the money, it's still an amazing car. Some people love all this metal that's into these vehicles. I'm not, you know, I'm not a big aluminum is better or metal is better about everything here, because, you know, things like these that are just bending and staying bent become a problem. If this had been plastic, it probably just would have flexed. I don't even think it would have broken on that type of a landing. But because it's metal, when it flexes, it does not come back and take its original shape again. So, plus it's just heavier. Because of that extra weight, it just hit harder. But that has nothing to do with the Extreme versus the regular. But I do feel that the components that are in this one definitely feel more enjoyable. I like the handling of this one better than the original one. So, Hung asks, what's your favorite RC excluding the X-Max? Right now, my favorite RC excluding the X-Max, you guys know I love these basher flippers, but it's probably the SMT-10. Now that I've got it upgraded, I really, really like how that handles. I like the scale look of it. I actually was just upgrading and updating my Red Cat ground pounder as well. You can see I've got the huge tires on there now. I've updated the ESC and the motor to brushless, and I just did the drive shafts are now aluminum because the brushless power just snapped the other ones about 2 minutes into running it. So going to brushless, it was a huge need to switch. So here's a little run footage of it. And what I like about this is that it's this is four-wheel steer, which is fun. But yeah, that's what I have going on with that. I like that, but not quite as much as the SMT10, but this was a whole lot cheaper to get it to this point. But I also just scored, because of our local hobby shop going out of business, I picked up those really big tires for half off, so I was able to get the whole kit of the Proline Brawlers and their rims that go with it. I don't remember the name of it, but basically two of them, 2 sets for the price of one. So you know, front and rear, and yeah, got a really good deal on them. Matt Attack is asking to see the mufflers again, so let me see here. Got them here on the bench. So these are the ones from RCNewb, newbie.com, from Tim, who you should also check out his YouTube and subscribe to him, as well as on Google Plus. He's on there as well. And so it came with these and all the zip ties you need to attach them. And then this is the, like I said, there's a second type of set that is a 2-piece muffler set that's can be taken off. And so it has a screw on the back, which I'm on, yeah, which fell out. Where's the other one? So this one's got the screw I can show. So I'm digging all around. So yeah, it's got the Allen threaded in there already, and the muffler. So these will stick up in here. With this one, again, this has got a really long setup for the bumpers, so you have to do some modding to get this one to stick out of the back if you wanted it to stick out back here, like so. But that has to do with the mounts that they've got for the bumpers on this one. I guess you just have to look at how your rig is set up, because these literally just strap onto your frame rails. And so Tim's actually in there in the comments. He just signed in. But yeah, I'll just show you guys again. There's just a lot of extra plastic that goes to this bumper. Not only on the interior, so you can't get it right up there, but also just coming out in the back. So that's a pretty long run, no matter how you shake it. And so some of this can probably be trimmed away and is unnecessary. But I'm going to give it a go on my SCX-10 1. And I want to have these looking good on there for the camping trip I'm going on, trailing. And I'm going to also try it out on my Traxxas and see how these fit, if these fit the frame rails. They're pretty similar, so I'm guessing that these should fit. So I'll let you know, Tim, how these do. But this wasn't necessarily my first plan, actually, for the mufflers anyway. And I plan on redoing some of this rig. I have a different body, which is going to shorten up the wheelbase, I believe, which will probably make the bumper or the mufflers work better anyway. This just happened to be sitting on the floor because I haven't cleaned up in my office. So that's, I just reached back here because it was back here. But yeah, these are really cool, Tim. And your printer does a really fantastic job on these prints that you've got here. So way better than I've gotten my printing so far. So very cool, man. getting back to the JLB, I think that, you know, other than my body being completely destroyed, and there's like, first real bash, I've got some cracks going up in the top here, and I've got, I mean, it's just creased all over the place because I took a totally brutal landing and it pushed the top and I actually had trouble getting it pushed back out while I was running. But again, this thing is just really heavy, so for the type of air that I was getting, I probably wouldn't recommend this. Somebody's asked me this, the Bison or the Zombie, because those are kind of the three at GearBest that are like in this type of truggy platform. I haven't tried the Team Magic. That might be a newer one, but it's a higher price point as well. But in this like $300 range for a brushless RC, what's my favorite? And I keep landing with the Zombie. Honestly, it's tough as nails. This and the Bison are stupid fast. This thing is just, it's crazy when you're on the throttle, and it's just always wanting to wheelie. And so in that regard, I just find that the Zombie isn't as fast. It's not, it's crazy, but the control of it's just way better, and I find it more enjoyable. These are fun to just go out and destroy like I was doing, and just flip it as many times as you can, wheelie it and have it like bounce all over and flip. But if you want actual control, you know, maybe you could gear these differently, but the Zombie's built like this. It's built like a tank. It's got more metal than I need in aluminum parts, but it's just a tough truck. The only issue that I've had with it is getting that ESC to sit in place. I had to zip tie it down to the chassis because I just could not get the zip ties to work. This one I think is a lot tougher than the Bison's going to be. I still like the Bison. I still think, you know, you run a chassis brace in the top to prevent this back part from cracking in the chassis. And other than that, you know, I haven't had too many issues with it. And I destroyed mine down at the Gravedigger's Dungeon, but I kind of, again, it was like I was going to run it till I broke it. And we were trying to launch it for a super distance jump, and I landed right on that fin, and of course, the way that transfer of power is going to go, it'd be right to where that the weak spot is in that chassis. So I ordered up a new one. I plan on fixing it and getting it running again because I do love to run that truck. But I need to get the chassis brace, just basically a metal rod between the two shock towers here, and put some nuts on them to keep it from moving, and just to brace this so you don't get that flex from the rear end that just stiffens the top up so that it will not flex. So Hung, if speed is your thing, man, one of these, yeah, this one, the JLB Extreme for speed. If you watch Steve's speed test, I have to get mine fixed up before I can speed test it. I'll do it on the stock battery, but I'm looking at some 4S batteries as well, just because I don't have one, and for speed, because people like speed. I want to be able to give you guys some of those tests. These 120 amp, it'll handle the 4S, so this and the Bison will. Tires, I mean, that's at your own risk, whether or not they're going to hold up or get just totally shredded. So, yeah. But I could put some of those, maybe put a muffler on here, make it go super fast. Be pretty cool looking, actually. Sticking out the back here. See if I can get get two of them coming off the back. Look like a total buggy. That'd be pretty sweet. So I've got this stuff going on. I've got to finish up my SCX-10-1, get the Angry Eyes finally finished, and then I actually want to get a guy, Buck, who I met through Facebook, Instagram, and through here. He's been doing these like Mad Max style bodies, and for people, and I wanna pay to get one of those done. So, Hung's asking, what is my choice of battery and the best charger? I'm not super particular on batteries. I typically, though, buy Venom batteries or something from Atomic RC. So there's like the Venom or the Bias are the two brands that are basically from Atomic RC. That's what I got when I started, and I kind of just have been continuing to buy that. Partly because at Debbie's RC World I could take them in. One of the guys that worked there was also like a rep for them. And so if something went wrong with the battery, he could, file a claim, and he helped with that process. And so that was part of why. As far as chargers, I've actually got one right here because I was flying my Tiny Whoop. I just had my brother and his family in town. But this was my first one. Was this right here. It's the High-Tech Multi-Charger X1. It's basically a speed charger. This one now, I need to take it apart. It's just really noisy because it's a little bit dirty, so the fan makes just a ton of noise. But this is 4, almost 5 years old, still working great. And I have their bigger version now that's like the 4-bay X4 maybe, and then it runs off a separate power supply. And so that's what I run down in my garage. That's my big setup, is running that. And yeah, I really dig these high-tech chargers. A lot of people use a whole bunch of different things, but again, when I get into something that works, I kind of stick with it. So if my batteries worked, I stuck with the batteries. I will say, as much as I like the Venom batteries, I've had a ton of issues with their 3S 50C 5000 milliamp hour battery puffing. I've had since I got my X-Max, and that's what I bought for it, I've had 4 of them puff up. So in the last 2 years, I guess, I've puffed 4 of them pretty quickly, and I haven't even run it that much recently because I've been doing other things with these reviews, and I haven't necessarily got to run the rigs that I want to rig because I'm trying to review some of this stuff for you guys, and so that limits some of my time to do the other cars that I have because I'm running these. So in fact, I've got another car here to test for people. And Hung, you're asking for stuff for under $100. Well, I've got the Brave here. It's the I think it's the FY10 by like VU, and so we'll be doing a review on this, just seeing how it stacks up in that $70 range compared to basically what you would get maybe at Walmart or something like that, Toys R Us price range. I'm sure that you're going to get more out of this than you would out of the new Brights, though. I can almost guarantee that. So somebody says fix the camera. All right, I fixed the camera. Sorry. This is the Brave here. But yeah, I haven't got to run all the cameras that I wanted, so, or the cars that I wanted, because of doing some of these reviews. Takes up some of that time. About customs, he makes, yeah, Matatech, he does make some really cool bodies. Matatech, do we still have the G-Made sawback? This is the G-Made sawback right here. See, I can show you the chassis underneath this body here. So it's a G-Made setup. Got magnets and everything to hold it all in. RC 4-wheel drive, 35 turn motor in it, running off of a Hobbywing Quick Run 1060. It's all waterproof Savox servo up in the front, sitting here on the front axle. But yeah, this is a 2x4 hanger on the front to go up under the hood as a mount point for the magnet. Right there, you can hear it click on. So that's basically the setup that I've got going for this right now. But haven't run this as much as I'd like to. But part of it is that just the body wants to come off because the magnets don't always mount very good. They seem to be Mounted pretty snug right now, though. But that's a go slow card. Can't really handle any great crawling. So that is that car. But yeah, other than that, I'm looking forward to, now that I finished the MIP axles, drive shafts into the SMT10, because I kept popping these. In fact, I can show you here. I'll try and remember to turn it off when I come back, guys. Sorry about that before, but you can see how I just basically cracked that thing right up when I was at the Digger's Dungeon, and it just popped off. And unfortunately, it was in a race at the end, so oh well, it happens. But now I've got the MIPs on. They were actually a lot easier to put together than I remembered, so those went in no problem. Had to get some new Integy wrenches because I didn't have the 1.5 millimeter that set took. The original ones took a bigger size Allen, so, but overall. Man Attack, are you asking how do I like the G-Made sawback? Because you know, it's definitely a stiffer ride than my SCX10s as far as suspension. It's got that leaf spring suspension. And I have it in, like, they're soft. They say I have to go any softer than I have it, which would be having only one spring. But I have the 2 spring without any of the clips on it, which is supposed to make it softer, and it doesn't have the articulation that I like. But I don't think that it's supposed to really necessarily have that going for it. So, yeah, I mean, it runs all right. I've completely moved and modded and cut the chassis or the frame and all that. So I did a lot to get that RC 4-wheel drive body to fit on it, other than finding a great way to make it stay on it. So Hung wants some ballooning action. I don't have any ballooning action on here for you, man. When I get the 4S, I'm sure when I do some speed runs on this that we're going to do some, you know, basically some pizza cutter tires on here. You know, rip saw these things up. So we'll see how they handle. I don't really want to just destroy it, but it may happen. I don't look to go out and just destroy cars. You know, sometimes just going big, I get a little too excited and I want to keep trying because I think I can do something, and in the end I end up breaking something. But I'm not. My goal wasn't to go out and break this car. My goal was to run it hard and to try and do some cool stuff with it, knowing that as a possibility it might happen if the landings weren't right. The problem with those BMX jumps is that these things just overpower it. You're not landing on the landing, and so you're landing on flat ground a lot of times because you're just overshooting. And so if you want to do a flip, you pretty much have to overshoot. But yeah. And that can lead to some pretty tough landings, especially if you don't land flat or if you land on, you know, crooked and you put all that onto one wheel. You could, you know, hopefully the servo saver will take it, but you might mess up a servo or break A-arms. I've done that a bunch of times. So, but it's all in the good fun. I love to jump these things. What I like about the SMT10 and those is that I'm not trying to do the big air that these things make me want to do. I'm trying to do more scale type air that you know would be more believable for them. So Evan Ellis asks which one. What First Man Attack asks, hey Steve, how's it going, man? What is that under the tank that looks like a midnight pumpkin? Oh, this is the basically the lunchbox version of the what's this called? Somebody help me out here. I've got the box for it. The Unimog 406. So it's the monster truck version of the Unimog by Tamiya. And it's filthy, actually. I don't know why I have it on the shelf without cleaning it. So this is my rock and roll Unimog. Everything's blacked out except for the red star on the front of the hood. Which do I like better, the DHK Zombie or the JLB? Again, like I said earlier, I like the Zombie better. I just feel like it has more control, and so the overall enjoyability that I get out of it is that I can pull throttle and go. And even if I'm maxing out the speed, I'm not just like, you know, you can't even hardly max out speed on these because it's just wanting to wheelie and you lose all control in the front end because it's just off the ground all the time. So as far as just control and running, jumping, it doesn't want to immediately go, you know, you hit a jump on this and it immediately wants to be like this and you have to throttle control it. Where the Zombie is going to be more likely to stay straight and just be a better, you know, overall jumper. I can take it. I was running on the indoor track at Debbie's several times, so that's just my preference. This is an awesome car, super fast if you like speed. If speed's not your thing, if you want just some more controlled rides, smooth jumps, still has plenty of speed. You know, especially if you put it onto like 4S, you know, the Zombie is going to have more punch at that 4S and be able to do some of this stuff. But at 3S, this thing's insane speed, and the Zombie is just a good controlled ride. You can jump it, it can clear things, but it's overall just a fun driver. It's one of my favorites to just get out and run. But yeah, I think that's everything unless you guys have anything. I just want to come out and talk a little bit about this and also just show off again the mufflers that I ordered from RCNewb.com. So if you guys haven't heard of it, check out that website, RCNewb.com. Tim's a great guy, does a lot of really cool reviews, but he also, one of the things I didn't mention about, and one of the ways that I found him in the first place was through a podcast that he does too, where he interviews drivers and RC people, just talks with them about how they got into the hobby. I know he's done great ones with Rich at 2RC Productions has been on there, so, as well as many other guys that, you know, are worth listening to. They're good stuff. So Tim, again, like I said, is a great guy. And I saw somebody else that just posted a video of these mufflers on their YouTube channel. I think it was Jamin RC, Jahmen, and I remember seeing these. I've just been traveling so much this year that I haven't, since they made the SCX10 ones, got on there to buy them. And when I saw them on Jamin RC's YouTube channel, I decided to go right over and scoop up a couple sets for myself. So, iPod Guy 55, what's the quad hiding behind the green rocket? Green rocket? Oh, that's the Star Wars one. It's the speeder bike. So, I did a video of that. It's like it's flying through Endor. I put the prop guards back on so my kids can fly it and try and fly it. That didn't go so well. But of the Star Wars quads, I think this was the best flyer that they made, and it looks really super cool actually when it's flying. So I just don't have a lot of space for stuff up here anymore, and I wanted to put this cool rocket up here and start changing out some of the Star Wars stuff, because not everybody's a Star Wars nut like I am, so I'm gonna start moving some of that out. The Frogman, he guessed it. I don't have... I think that I kept waiting for people to ask what this was, but it's being blocked by my computer. And this I got in Guatemala, I think it was. Basically, it's like for making cheese or queso. You put some coal in here, charcoal, put your cheese up here, make basically a little fondue thing. I just don't know where to put it when we were eating out of these at these restaurants, and I love nachos, so it's probably my favorite food ever is nachos, and so I wanted it. RC Tanks and Truck 24/7. How's the Mavic going? He asks. The Mavic's going great. I'm still in the middle of editing the stuff from Colorado while we were driving the Jeep, and I was flying the Mavic around as we were doing the trail run up there, and so I'm wanting to edit that together with the footage from the ground and all that, and some of the bits that I did for it. But yeah, time has been an issue, and because now several weeks removed, the interest in doing it isn't there like it would be if I would have done it that same night. Typically, when I do my videos, I shoot them and edit them the same day because I have an attention span disorder, and if it's not the same day, I kind of lose a little bit of interest. So, Breaking Silence says that he wants to get us together to race, Steve. Maybe I'll have to use up some of my frequent flyer miles I'm racking up this year and fly out there with an RC or two. Maybe we can arrange to have some brand new RCs arrive so that we're pulling them out of the box and so we can't mod them at all and see how we do. That'd be pretty awesome, actually. What do you think of the Team Associated Pro Rally? Evan Ellis asks. I haven't actually ever heard of it, so shoot us a link so we can take a look at it. The only Team Associated I have is the RC10, and that's the race spec. That's their like ready to run version, and that's a fun little 2-wheel drive 10th scale buggy that I got so that when my short course truck was down, I had something to run at the indoor racetrack. But free accommodations, Steve says. See, it makes it easier. Is there an airport right near you that you can fly into? Well, here we go. We're gonna get something planned up. It seems like right here on the air. But I was gonna say there was something else I was gonna show. So it was all videos. It's crazy because this whole app that I'm running this off of allows you to pull stuff up. And there's 2 different videos. Maybe it's this one. Alright, so this might have been the brake one I was looking for, where I actually broke the JLB. It looks, yeah, this is it. Here it is coming at me. Landed flat, but we that's where we did the damage to this car, was on that particular landing, where I got the rotations and the revolutions right, but it just so much weight, so much spinning mass that when it hit, it was just like, it looked like a gymnast in the Olympics when they hit with so much speed that they bounce and they take that step back. 25 minutes away from the airport. That might be doable, man. We'll see, especially if I'm having to go to any of the Asian offices. Maybe I can fly down the rest of the way. But yeah, it's been fun getting back in here and getting to run some of these RCs, because it's been a while since I've really been able to do it. I was gonna see if somebody's asking about the zombie. I thought that I had maybe some footage of the zombie on the racetrack up at Debbie's here. It's saying it's not added to it's not stored on my device, so it won't let me pull it in. But I did have some good runs with it up there on their indoor course. It really was funny because the tires just gripped. You could hear them tearing around the track when it would dig in. It was just insane. Let me see here. Maybe I have something else. Yeah, it doesn't look like I have it. That's a bummer. But this This app is pretty slick in that the way that it allows all this to take place on here. Here's the broken, the carnage on the back of this vehicle. See if it'll let me use this photo here or not. That one's all blurry. But it just basically snapped clean off. And this was just off of small little jumps in my backyard. And just ripped it right off. Clean. Lights are still going though. You can see the red light in the grass. So, Frogman's asking, have you seen the new associated desert buggy, the Nomad? I haven't been able to keep up on the new stuff. For a while, nothing new seemed to be coming out, and so I didn't just keep up on looking. So I have to check that out and see what some of the new announcements are that they're talking about. But Steve is asking, what's the app called? And the app that I use for these is called Switcher Studio. And so the issue with it is, the biggest problem that I have with it is that I can't see the comments that people are making without logging in via a computer or something else. So I have way too much going on in order to be able to do what the very basic, simple side of this is. The problem with the YouTube app for me is my phone is way over there, and so with the lights on, it makes my face like a ghost and white and all that. Where with this one, I can actually touch and I can change exposure using an iPad over here, or another phone, or an iPod, or some other device with it running to well, I can show you everything it's doing. So this is what we're running, all of it live. And so you just tap on the different things that you want. This would be another camera angle up here. And then that's the back camera, the device I'm using. Whereas this one would be my phone, which is over there. So, and then all of the videos and stuff I have preloaded in to be able to click on and throw up on the screen. So it's pretty slick. Pretty slick for doing live. It'll do YouTube, Facebook, plus it's recording the stream right to the iPad. And so for those of you that like being into the techie stuff and all of that, but I can literally just touch right on here and do exposure, focus. I can zoom in on myself if I wanted to. So it's kind of cool. I don't know about that, Steve. Peter's asking, and this is depressing. Peter Ronzoni asks, just logging in, not sure if you mentioned it, what's my overall opinion of the TRX4 so far? My opinion is that I need to ride it more. I've only driven it one time on a scale course that I don't even plan to use it on, because it's all just bridges and like man-made stuff. So that's sad that I have this awesome rig and I haven't been able to get it out yet. Beyond that, so yeah, I can't comment. I've seen other people run it more. I even just watched a RC Sparks video last night where he's got the Jeep body on it, like this one, the SCX-10-2 Jeep Cherokee body that he modded for it, and it looked like he was really doing great on it, on his rock pile. So, Mad Attack saying I should look at a Red Cat Everest Gen 7. Well, let's take a look at it now. Red Cat. The other cool thing that we can do is we can do things together. So Red Cat Everest Gen 7 Scalar. Oh yeah, this thing looks cool. I'll say that. I really thought what they were doing with the frame was different than what everybody else is doing, which I think is kind of neat. So this one I'd probably get in. There's the Pro version even. So if it's really street price of $199, that's insane. September 2017. So that's just around the corner here, people. So here's what I want to look at though, is their interior. So it's got this interesting rail system here. Let me see if I can get in closer for you. Where they come up to these shock mounts here. The way that the frame lifts up. And same over here. It goes way up and it's got all these different mount points for your shocks. Which I think is pretty interesting. So I'm very interested to see how it handles. And for that price, you know, they've done a couple things that I like already where they mounted the battery I like. Everything's tucked in here in the center, very nice. So I think that the look of it is something that I can dig and get behind. So I do remember now. I have a hard time with the names and all the different things that are coming out. Peter's saying he built a Techno MT410. It's the best bashing RC's ever owned, hands down. Man, that would be awesome. What I really, really want next, and I've got to save up a bunch of money for it, and I've talked to the guy already. So when I was at the Monster Jam, or the RC Monster Truck World Finals at Gravedigger's Dungeon by No Limits RC. There's a guy from Freestyle RC there, and the monster truck chassis and axles that he builds are beautiful. So let me pull these back up here for you guys. Give you a look here. And so I'd love to be able to talk about and do a review on one of these monster truck chassis that he's built. I mean, look at these axles right down here. They're just so beefy. I gotta get closer, I guess, for you to see it big. These don't seem to be showing the different chassis because they've all got the bodies on. But there's basically 3 different style chassis that I've seen from them so far. But right now they're only showing the Pro C chassis on their website. And the one that I want is more like a traditional cage style. And that's what a lot of the ones on their homepage are running. But let's look at these axles too. Here you can see, but these things, you know, made out of solid metal are just so tough. And they've got the rear steering lockouts for them. But so then you use the Traxxas differentials and the Emax drive shaft sets for them. But yeah, he's making some really cool. So you can see the chassis in here. See how high it goes up in here, the blue. And this guy was sitting next to me too. That was a beautiful truck, and that was the newer style chassis that they have. Maybe under their photos they've got some of the new chassis. But so Freestyle RC is what I dream of getting next. One of these just really beefy rigs. So I think I might have actually, there it is. There we go. screen went black. Is it back now? That's a bummer. So if you haven't, if the screen went black through all of that, then check out just freestyle-rc.com, freestyle-rc.com. Yeah, I don't know how much of that was black and for how long. It'd be unfortunate if that was all of that. So none of the other one worked at all, apparently. That's a bummer. Here, just a real quick. Hopefully this doesn't go black. These are the rigs from FreestyleRC. And they're just running really, really beefy chassis under there. And their axles are just insanely built. So all right, well, it's been going now for quite a while. I'm gonna wrap up here. Peter got me going about what I want to get next. Although that techno, I've seen a lot of people talking about the MT410, so maybe I need to look it up and see. But sorry about it all going black there, guys. It's the problem with having to switch away from the page to be able to see something else, and I don't see what the feed is doing. So still trying to figure out how to perfect doing the live stuff and keep up with it all without having somebody else sitting in here saying, hey, feed's gone, or no audio, or any of that. So thanks for tuning in, as always. Sorry about the little mistakes going on, but look forward to getting out and running this more. I got to get it fixed up, but I've been working behind the scenes a lot more than I've been able to recently, getting stuff fixed up for my camping trip, getting the monster trucks going. So I'll get this thing right up onto the bench here real soon, and we'll get it fixed up and we'll get it back out and running, get some more videos and impressions on it for you, because so far first impressions are it's stupid tough based on what I did to it and what it took in order to just bend one piece that I can just, you know, bend back into place and keep it going. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Have fun RCing. We'll catch you next time.